Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty show. We're back like we never left. I know last week we did not have as much content come out. I was actually, for those of you that enjoy golf, I was down in Bandon Dunes playing golf all last week. So we weren't able to do any live shows. Unfortunately, the hotel there did not support the internet well enough for me to really want to do that. I didn't feel like it was going to be a great experience for everybody. So we just kind of pushed that back. I know Ricky and I were able to get a couple videos out, and I was able to sneak one more out there while I was in Bandon this week. We'll definitely get the live shows going again. We're going to get for sure Thursday. Planning on hopping on NorCal with Dan on Wednesday still. And then we're going to try and get at least another live, maybe Friday, maybe tomorrow. I'm not really sure. Or Tuesday, I should say. I'm not really sure which day, but we're going to try and sneak another live in there and some extra content for everybody this week. But it is Tuesday, which means it is our minor league update. This will be for July 15th through July 21st. Now, this will be a little bit of a shorter episode. That most of the teams only played 3 games last week, so a lot less action as a whole. On top of that, um, a lot of the pitchers didn't actually play, so less people to kind of run through. So, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get started with Sacramento, who went 3-0 versus Albuquerque, who is the Rockies affiliate. So, if only the Giants would have been, as good against the Rockies as their AAA team did against the Rockies affiliate, but is what it is. Number one prospect Carson Whisenhunt did not pitch. You did see Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb both throw rehab starts, so that kind of contributed to not very many of the other guys go. But number 3 prospect Marco Luciano, he did continue his hot streak. He went 4 for 11 with a home run, 3 walks, and only 4 strikeouts. Has reached base in every game in the month of July. He's currently on a 9-game hitting streak. This has been Marco's MO. Ricky and I have talked about it, and you guys have heard me say it many times with Marco. It's kind of his history to go to a level, start slow, figure it out, tear the cover off the ball. We have reached that tear the cover off the ball phase. He has been hitting really well. He's making a push to try and get back up to the big league team. Now, some of that also depends on his defense for obvious reasons. From what I've watched at second base, he looks fine. If you just go off of fielding percentage, it's a little better than shortstop. Ideally, I think he'd be a better fit at first base or a corner outfield spot. Team seems to disagree. This is where my struggles are with Marco Luciano. I just don't trust the front office to figure out where to play him. And that's kind of where I'm on this spot where it almost makes sense to trade him. Now, I say that, and I want to be clear. My first choice with Marco is always going to be to try and see if he can hit on his potential, because he really truly does have, lineup changing potential as a difference maker in the middle of the order if he figures it out at the major league level. So we'll see what the team does, but it is good to see him playing well now. If you actually look at his numbers as a whole, go off things like WRC plus. I think his WRC plus was at 99 after yesterday's game, meaning he is like 1% worse than the league average, which with the start he had, which was just brutal. And for 3 months, he just was not playing well. Pretty impressive for him to already get back to about league average. Um, we'll see if he can keep this up. We'll see if he continues to carry the momentum, because what he's doing right now, like he's gonna force their hand if he continues to play this way for another 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's just the reality. Moving on though, number 7 prospect Mason Black, 4 2/3 innings, no earned runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts through 90 pitches, 65 for strikes. 90 pitches is his season high. He's bounced back a little bit. Not, obviously not the most efficient start, but for a guy that's been a lot more down than up, and since he, went up to the major leagues after having a really hot start to the season, it's good to see him have a good outing yesterday or Sunday. So hopefully another guy that can continue to carry some momentum, get going for the rest of the season, and we'll see how he does. Number 11 prospect Landon Roop did not pitch. Number 13 prospect Grant McCray went 2 for 13, a walk and 5 strikeouts. He only had 2 hits. Now, those 2 hits, though, were home runs that in one game on Saturday that went a combined 867 feet. Hit some absolute bombs. But, you see the whole game with him. Draw some walks, has some power, strikes out a good amount. So, as always, questions are going to be, can he put the ball in play enough? I really don't know the answer to that, unfortunately. And he continues to flash kind of the tools to where it makes you really intrigued and, hopeful that he can maybe figure it out at some point. Number 17 prospect Carson Seymour did not pitch. Same as number 29 prospect Carson Ragsdale. He did not. He also did not pitch. Casey Schmidt, 3 for 11 with a home run, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a stolen base. Home run, came on a breaking ball, laid off a couple chase pitches, then managed to hit one over the fence and left. Drew a walk where he laid off a couple pitches. He also kind of got screwed out of a second walk where, he worked a 3-1 count and they got drilled on a 3-1 pitch. So it's like it would have been ball 4 anyway. His walk rate continues to go up. This is a guy that's just, put in a ton of work on his plate discipline. And that's why I would like to see him get another shot. I felt like when he came up the second time, it was more indicative of what I had seen in AAA for the vast majority of this season, where he was laying off a lot of chase pitches. He was getting pitches in the zone and he was putting them in play. He did some damage with a couple home runs against New York. Had a couple other hits mixed in there, but the overall at bat quality was just much improved over what we saw in 2023. So yes, he's 25 years old. He's a little bit, he's starting to get to that age where we really want to see production. I'm hopeful he gets an opportunity at some point, especially with the team kind of on a downward spiral. Hopefully they get a couple of these kids up, and I'd like to see him get a look. And, even if that means potentially having him, look into trading a guy like Matt Chapman, who's having a really good year. I think it makes a lot of sense to give Casey Schmidt the last 50, 60 games or whatever of the season. See what you have out of him. If you like what you see, you got your third baseman going into next season. If you don't like what you see, you can just as easily try and sign Matt Chapman in the offseason when he opts out, or a Ha-Seong Kim, or an Alex Bregman, or there's a ton of third baseman options. So, or maybe Marco Luciano moves to third. There's options there. So I think it makes sense, but that's my opinion. David Villar, 1 for 9 with a double, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. He still got on base 4 out of 10, 4 times out of 10 plate appearances. The 6 strikeouts you don't really want to see, but overall he's still having a good season. Hunter Bishop only played in 1 game, went 1 for 2 with a walk and a K. Gerard Encarnacion, I think it's actually Gerard Encarnacion, 2 for 7, a walk and 3 strikeouts. And that's all we have for Sacramento. We're going to move on to Richmond, who went 1 and 2 versus Akron. They're 42 and 48 on the season. Number 12 prospect Trevor McDonald had his best start of the season. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 4 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts, through 66 pitches, 43 for strikes. He's actually been pretty efficient with his pitch counts. That's been one good thing to see out of him. They are trying to develop him as a starter, but I don't think he's really been pushed past 70 pitches so far this season. So we'll kind of, keep an eye on that. I still think eventually he ends up in the pen. His stuff is pretty electric, especially his fastball and slider. So I do think he's going to end up being like a really good high leverage reliever down the road. But, I do like that they're at least giving him a look starting with his stuff. Number 19 prospect Victor Barracoto, 3 for 13 with 6 strikeouts. Number 26 prospect Jairo Pomares, 4 for 13, 2 doubles, 3 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. I still think he deserves to get moved up to AAA. Unfortunately, there's kind of a logjam up there, as Ricky and I mentioned last week. Time will tell on that one, but he's definitely done a lot of really good stock recovery, we'll call it, because his stock was way down after last season. He was hurt all season. Didn't even start playing this season until May. But he's having a really good year in Double A in a very pitcher friendly environment. Really difficult on hitters, and he's got an 800 plus OPS there. So having a really good season, good for him. Skipped one, number 15 prospect Wade Meckler. He got bumped up to Richmond. He went 4 for 12 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. They're kind of slowly working his way up, and this is a problem. Like Jairo Pomares is probably behind Meckler on list of guys that are going to get moved up. So really the Giants just drafted like so many outfielders in the 2024 draft. So at some point they're going to have to start moving some of these guys, whether that's a McRae, whether that's a Luis Matos, a Hunter Bishop, a Ryan, or they just dump guys like Ryan McKenna. They're going to have to make some of these decisions at some point or another. Moving over to Eugene, they went 1-2 versus Tri-Cities, 44 and 45 on the season. Number 2 prospect Bryce Eldridge went 1 for 11, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. So rough week for him, but not as rough a week for him as it was for Joe Whitman, who's their number 10 prospect. 4 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, 9 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts, 67 pitches, 45 for strikes. Now, I'm not going to freak out about this. I watched Madison Bumgarner record 1 out against the Minnesota Twins one year and give up 8 runs in his 1/3 of an inning. So stuff happens. It was a bad game. He's had a lot of good games since he's been called up to high A. I think pretty much every other game was a good start, and he had made like 4 or 5 starts already there. So it happens. He had a bad game. Shake it off. Move on to the next. Number 18 prospect Diego Velasquez, 3 for 14 and for 3 strikeouts. He's cooled off a bit. He's still hitting about 270. I'm high on Diego. I think he's one of their most underrated prospects, as I've said before. But he's not having like a particularly huge year. He's been all right. Solid overall. He's on track. I think he'll be in Double A either very end of this season or starting next season. He's still young. I believe he's 21 this season. So, he's on track is the best way to put it. Number 24 prospect, O'Neal Perez, went 2 for 4 with a double, a walk, and a strikeout. Number 25 prospect, Cole Foster, 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts. It's a pretty rough week for him. Number 27 prospect, Jonah Cox. He went 2 for 14, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. He did not steal a base this week, which he has over 50 on the season right now. He's hitting only 219 since he got called up to Eugene. So something to keep an eye on. He's struggling quite a bit, but hopefully he can get going here in the not too distant future. Quinn McDaniel went 2 for 7 with a triple, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a stolen base. And then we're going to go ahead and move over to the San Jose Little Giants, who played Fresno this last week and went, sorry, I forgot to write this one down, 3-0 versus Fresno. So they are now on the season 55 and 34. I don't know what it is about that team. They are always really good year in and year out. So good for them. Number 9 prospect Maui Ahuna went 2 for 7, 3 walks, a strikeout, and a stolen base. Number 28 prospect Josh Bostic did not pitch. Lisbel Diaz went 1 for 7 with 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. His average isn't really there, but that's still not a terrible week. Again, you get on base 4 out of 10 plate appearances. That's nothing to hang your head at. Charlie Ciscounty, 4 for 12 of the triple, 3 walks and a strikeout. Now, mind you, with Ciscounty, he is very old for A-ball. He is 24 years old. So this is expected of a guy that age. Kind of like when Vaughn Brown was tearing it up a few years ago. They're way old for the level. They should dominate. Now, let's get him up to, high A sooner than later. And let's see if he can continue the momentum and, keep playing well as he moves through the system. Moving over to the complex league, number 5 prospect Walker Martin, 3 for 10 with a home run, 8 walks, and 5 strikeouts, and a stolen base. If you look at his numbers on the season, he's really I don't want to quite say 3 outcome hitter, but he's a bit of a 3 outcome hitter. He now has 6 home runs because he actually hit another home run today. He has 6 home runs on the season. He has a 38.2% strikeout rate, which is really high at the moment. And he also has a nearly 20% walk rate. So pretty insane. His OPS is now almost 800 in the ACL. So he was off to just a dreadful start. He's gotten it going. Hopefully, the complex league does end in the next few weeks. Hopefully, we do see him get some time in San Jose. It is a big adjustment for him. I'm not trying to downplay the poor performance on the season as a whole, but it is, pretty well documented that the level of competition in Colorado high schools isn't as high as other states. So it has been a big jump in, level of competition for him. He's a bit older. He is 20 as a high school kid. I think he turns 21 in February. So I'd really like to see him get to A ball, and hopefully he can take big strides and start figuring out the bat to ball, because I don't think it's a mechanical issue of any sort. You look at his swing, looks really good. His swing, I've said in the past, reminds me a lot of Corey Seager's swing. But obviously I'm not predicting him to be that. We'll just kind of see what happens. But he is kind of, as he's gone the last 3 weeks, he's heated up and he's performing much better. So we'll see how he does. Number 6 prospect Rainer Arias, 3 for 18, a double, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. Ryan Reckley has gotten, he's heating up a little bit. 5 for 16 with a home run, 3 walks, a home run, a triple, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, and a stolen base. And then we're going to move over to the Dominican Summer League. Their number 20 prospect, Johnny Level, for those of you who don't know, was their number 1 international signee for 2023. He went 5 for 18, a double, a walk, 2 strikeouts, and 3 stolen bases. Not bad for the 17-year-old. Jesus Guzman went 4 for 13 with a home run, 5 walks, and Angel Guzman, 4 for 13 with a home run, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. And then Jesus Alexander, I got those 2 mixed up. 8 for 14, a triple, a double, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Wanted to give those 2 a couple shout outs because they've been absolutely tearing up the DCL with like 1,000 plus OPSs. So they've been really good. That's all I have for the minor league update. Like I said, a little shorter this week, but definitely do come check us out. We're going to have more content coming. Possibly Wednesday morning. I'm going to do Dan's show Wednesday night over at NorCal Sports Network. And so join us there. We'll do a live on here. I think for sure Caveman Dan is going to be on here. I don't know about Ricky. I'll reach out to Josh as well. We may have kind of a full house. Hopefully the Giants can do some good things in the next couple days. We'd really like some good things to talk about. And, there are some. Tyler Fitzgerald being one of them. Hayden Birdsong being another. There are some good, even mixed in with the bad. But it would be nice if they can beat LA a few times before that show. And then maybe a live show on Friday night as well. We'll see. I will let you guys know on that. But other than that, as always, I appreciate the support from everyone. If you do enjoy the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are creeping up on 600, so we are, we're getting there pretty slowly but surely. So please do that if you enjoy it. And other than that, go Giants, and I'll catch you all next time.